Zimbabwe has officially launched a rollout of lenacapavir. See, this name, lenacapavir. What is it? It's a groundbreaking, long-acting injectable drug for AIV prevention. I'm not going to say the word AIV. Let's call it AIV. Yes. So when they inject you that thing once every 6 months, so twice a year, you are protected. People are talking about. I remember many years ago, there was this very beautiful girl. I was young. I was like really, really young. Early 20s. Beautiful girl. I'm like, hey, we like each other and all that stuff, okay? Before we go crazy, how about we do a blood test, you know? We do HIV test and stuff, so we know, you know what I mean, before. That girl got very angry. She got very angry at me because before we got to that, some stuff happened, okay? But the stuff happened. While the stuff was happening, I doubled. You know what I'm saying? I doubled. You know when you say doubling? Yes, I doubled. Some people understand, some people don't understand. If you don't know what I'm saying, forget about it. Anyway, so the doubling made her very upset. Why would you double? You know, do you think I'm a cow? This is what she said. You think I'm a cow? She got very upset. You think I'm a cow? I'm like, well, you know, how about we go do that thing? You know, let's just do the blood test. So we, you know, she got very upset. Very, very upset. She disappeared. A couple of months later, she sent me a message saying, listen, I'm at the hospital and blah, blah, blah. I'm not okay. Do you want coming to visit? I went to visit. I said, I just want to be honest with you. I did this and this and that blood test, and that thing came out positive. And I've been living a okay life, but I know there was a time where I broke up with somebody and I just went wild. He cheated on me and I started cheating, and I was just doing my things and I was like living my best life and whatever. It was a very sad story. Very sad story. But that was the case. That was the situation. What's happening, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping. I appreciate you. This is the reality of our society. Whether you're American or African, we're all concerned. But the question is, why is you people some of the most infected? That's a good subject. We're going to talk about it. Not today, but we will talk about it. Today we're going to talk about Zimbabwe. You're on a map. Beautiful place, lovely people. Zimbabwe is going through a lot of things, difficulties. It's been sanctioned. A lot of Zimbabwe fled the country because bread was super expensive and life was hard. Now Zimbabwe is building up very slowly. Zimbabwe has officially launched a rollout of lenacapavir. See, this name, lenacapavir. What is it? It's a groundbreaking, long-acting injectable drug for AIV prevention. I'm not going to say the word AIV. Let's call it AIV. Yes. So when they inject you that thing once every 6 months, so twice a year, you are protected. People are talking about 100% protection, and that's some of an unheard of situation.
It promotes adherence. There are people who struggle with daily methods, like oral prep, for instance. And so you can imagine if you're able to just get 2 jabs per year, it really does alter the way we look at things. In terms of HIV incidence or new infections, this is going to play a really huge role in reduction of new infections.
Lenacapavir stop AIV, you know what AIV is, from infecting your body by targeting the virus shell called capsid. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about, but capsid is this very specific thing that the virus needs to enter a cell. Now, this lenacapavir will hit capsid in many areas to avoid infection. Now, HIV needs capsid, like I said, to work properly, and lenacapavir will stop it. This is great news. Congratulations, Burkina Faso. Not Burkina Faso, sorry. We spoke about Burkina Faso. Congratulations to Zimbabwe. Yeah. Congratulations. So this was announced by Health Minister Douglas Mbeshora from Zimbabwe.
This tells us something important. Prevention must fit into real life. If a health solution is too complicated, too demanding, or too visible, people simply won't use it. That is why innovation in prevention matters. Lenakapava represents a new way of doing things.
Zimbabwe are some of the smartest people in Africa, just so you know, just in case. They go to school, they finish school. They don't do dropouts. I'm a high school dropout. No, they finish high school, they go to university and college, they get degrees. It's just sad that people sort of like to undermine them, especially in South Africa, because they are foreigners, you know, with no jobs and stuff. They look down. They are smart. They go to school. Where they do things, they shine. Zimbabweans, keep it in mind. Now, Lemasepovi was developed by this company. It's named Gilead. Okay, it is administered twice yearly. Gilead is a long story, not necessarily good stories, but we'll talk about that. Let's just continue. Now, I think this is an interesting situation because this is Zimbabwe getting this, and Zimbabwe is not the first country to get this. South Africa is also getting the Lemasepovi. Now, is this drug being bought by these African countries? No, they're not buying them. Lemasepovi is being gifted to African countries. Yeah, it's a gift by the United States of America and some private companies. So it's not African countries buying these drugs. That's going to help a lot of people prevent them from getting the disease. Usually people say that people that sell, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say that name. Usually people that walk the street to sell are the one that the most dangerous. It's not truth. Let's nobody lie to you. People that officially sell are not the problem, because usually the people that officially sell, they protect them. How? Because when people go to people that officially sell, they know they have to put on that thing and sometimes double. If you don't double or use that thing, you're probably gonna get it. So by doing so, even the men that are infected are protecting those people without knowing. Let me repeat myself. People in the street that walk are usually protected. How? Because most of the people that go to them want to protect themselves because they know they are. It's the girl next door, my brother. It's that girl, that Tandeka, that Nomsa, that Nomfundo, that Nomtando, that Nomkita, but not Olo. It's those girls. Janine, Pamela, those are the girls. The next, that cute girl from the next door. You think those are people you should be very careful about. Anyway, now, America is helping Africans with this stuff. This looks nice, right? It looks nice. Okay. We could say congratulations to America for being kind. Well, this is dangerous. Why is this dangerous? Because just a few months ago, the United States of America cut foreign aid to Africa. Do you remember that?
USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out.
The United States of America of Donald Trump cut US aid from Africa. What is USAID? It's a system by America that helps many African countries or poor countries in many areas, including healthcare sector. Now, as early as 2025, Donald Trump started his second term. We all know that, okay? He stopped almost all U.S. foreign aid for 90 days. For what? To check everything, okay? To check everything. He said foreign aid was a waste of money. It had fraud and push ideas that are not good for America.
There's no reason for USAID when you look at the politicians that have been in there sucking the blood out of it. When you look at all of the fake deals. I mean, look, all you have to do is get a list of all of the things you can see by the heading. It's fake, it's fraudulent, it's probably kickbacks.
Number one, he said it was waste of money, it was fraud, and pushed ideas that was not good for America. Was Trump right to do that? Well, if you look at it from an American perspective, absolutely. Why? Because it's a waste of money for Americans. Why America has to send money to African people? African people don't necessarily vote for America every time. Number two, it had fraud. Yes, because people made money. They built houses. They became millionaires through this US aid that was being sent to Africa. Number three, it pushed ideas that are not good for America. He said, like what? Like men being with other men. He doesn't believe that's good for America. Like men changing their finger, making it a woman. He doesn't believe that's good for America. People supporting China. Trump doesn't believe it's good for America. Is he right? 100%. I know people believe Trump was just racist and pushing. No, well, why would you support somebody sending them money who doesn't necessarily support you? Why would you do that? You must be stupid to do that. You must be stupid. Southern Africa suffered. We're talking about South Africa, Lesotho, Botswana. Some of these countries suffered. Why? Because they stopped PEPFAR. What is PEPFAR? PEPFAR is a special program that helps people living with HIV in shithole country. No. South Africans don't like it when you say shithole and you're mentioning their country. They will be angry with African countries. We fixed it. Don't be angry, Oga. Not the Ogas are in Nigeria. Malumes. Don't be angry. Anyway, PEPFAR is to help South African and Africans and Southern Africans and East Africans to treat themselves from HIV. So it's basically provided African people with funding and medicine so they can treat the HIV and stay alive. Now, Donald Trump for 90 days stopped that. And it was havoc. People were scared. People lost their jobs. People were laid off from their jobs. Companies and clinics closed from South Africa to Lesotho to Congo to Uganda. It was havoc. Now, I know it sounds bad, it looks like racism, but when you think about it, after so many years of independence, you haven't developed a way to protect your people? After so many years of independence in 1960, okay? I mean, South Africa was in 1994. It's also 30 years. It's one of the biggest economy in Africa, so it doesn't have the reason to justify that. Neither does Congo, Uganda, Nigeria. You don't have the funding and the capacity to handle your stuff. I know South Africa produces some antiretroviral, but not the entirety of it. Okay, so there was a shortage. People lost their jobs. I know many South Africans in the health sector, CRAs, and many people, clinical research people, lost their jobs. They were laid out because of this program that was shut by America. Trump's goal was America first. Okay, he wanted to bring America first by force. Okay, he wanted to cut government spending of US money. He also wanted to reduce help abroad and push other countries to do more for themselves. Is there something wrong with that? Is that racism? Wanting you to do more for yourself? No, it's not. Now, fellas, what I want you to understand is the Congress in the United States of America has pushed Trump back. They've allowed $4.5 billion in 2026 for PEPFAR. PEPFAR that was blocked, it's been allowed partially. That's what's giving you laissez-passer, just so you can understand. It's not your government that's made the breakthrough. Your government didn't buy laissez-passer for you to get it for free. The United States of America has allowed again $4.5 billion into these African countries so they can get laissez-passer. Now, what lesson do you learn from this? The lesson is very simple. Do you have alternative measures? They've shown you we are capable of blocking your stuff. Now, have you learned from that moment? Are you now happy? Oh, thank you. Thank God now we can get the drugs again from America. You need to learn to be self-sufficient, okay? You need to learn to be self-sufficient. And this is very sad because Zimbabwe is profiting from this. Can Zimbabwe produce its own drugs? That question mark. Yes, Zimbabwe can produce its own drugs. Okay, the country has about 9 local pharmaceutical companies. However, local production is very small. Okay, very, very small. It only covers about 12% of the medicine Zimbabwe uses. 12%. 88% of the medicine from Zimbabwe come from different countries. This is not limited to Zimbabwe. South Africa as well. Now, can Zimbabwe produce the laissez-passer? No, they don't have the facilities right now. Okay, fellas, there's another program named DHAPP. It's equal to PEPFAR. Now, this is going to shock you. DHAPP is PEPFAR for the military of Africans. So the United States of America sponsors drugs against HIV for soldiers in Africa. Yes! Which countries benefit from this? Kenya, Defense Force. Nigeria, Ministry of Defense and Armed Force. Tanzania, People of Defense Force. Uganda, Angola, Botswana, Burkina Faso. Yes, Burkina Faso also profit. I hope Traore is going to stop it and find an alternative, but Burkina Faso also profit. Burundi, Cameroon Army get it. Ghana, Liberia military focused HIV support. Mozambique, Togo, Zambia, they all get it. And that's not limited to that, because other with reported historical involvement in getting help, the army, my brother, we're talking about armies, countries like Cote d'Ivoire, with historically reported Democratic Republic of Congo, Eswatini, Ethiopia, Lesotho, Malawi, Namibia, South Africa, South Sudan have received help from the United States of America. Now, what kind of army is that? Like, you receive help from another army. Like, are you going to stand against America and you go to the United Nations and vote against America? How can you vote against America? You can't vote against America because you live for America. They treat your people, they allow you to have a decent life and have medicine to survive. You need to show them respect. Okay? Now, when they call you shuttle country, you get angry. Why would you get angry? Why would you get angry? Let me know if you feel about this. Congratulations again to Zimbabwe for getting Lema Sepovi. It's an injection twice a year. You can go do kloof and not get that thing. But unfortunately, there are many other things you should be worried about. It's not just that. And also, this is sponsored by Gilead. That's another conversation. Gilead is owned by 3 companies I'm not going to name here. Those 3 companies have said that countries with low rates of birth, low population, do the best when it comes to economy. Did you hear that? Should I restart? Okay. Lema Sepovi is created by Gilead. Gilead is owned by 3 companies. The owners of the 3 companies, I'm not going to name them here, believe that the human population must go down. Do you want me to talk about that? Okay, so we are happy there's Lema Sepovi. However, Lema Sepovi was created by Gilead. Gilead is partially owned by 3 companies. These 3 companies' owners believe there are too many people in the world. Okay, let's talk about this later. God bless. The reason why you're here is because you want to know about the motherland. You know, we give you proper news, good stuff, unprecedented, unfiltered. We don't give a continental about anybody and whatever they have to say. You know that, right? That's why I love you, because you come back. Because even the people that criticize what we do, they still come back every day. Oh, that's a clickbait. But they still watch every single day. Like, how do you watch somebody you know you put clickbait? But you still come watch because you know you find something in whatever we say. Whether it's clickbait or not, you're going to never get away from this empty-handed. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. My name is Zack. I love my glasses. I know you love them too. I see you and appreciate you. First of all, please click on the buttons, whatever you call that button. What do you call it? Subscribe, I think. So we can see each other every day. Don't just subscribe. Click also notifications so we can see each other every single day. I appreciate you. I love you. I want you to stay. We family. I see you because I know you see me. Let's go. Now, Iran, you heard about Iran? Okay. You heard about the Epstein files, right? Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sure you heard about this by now, okay? Some dude that used to bring in young girls, okay? Young girls to a special island. I'm sure you heard about this, right? And bringing in very powerful people across the world, going to this special island where they're going to do kloof, the young kids. Bad situation. We need to talk about this so you can understand. Iran and America don't get along. They've just issued a threat to the United States of America saying if the United States of America dare to hit Iran with missiles, they've issued a threat saying they're going to release stolen mails from Donald Trump associates, including the White House Chief of Staff, this one, Susie Wiles, Roger Stone, Lindsey Halligan, and Stormy Daniels. Iran say if you hit us with one missile, we're releasing the stuff. Now, the U.S. has responded to that. They say, you know what? This is a calculated smear campaign of digital propaganda. My question is this. If you know it's a lie, why do you want to defend it? I'm just asking. If somebody say, okay, so that guy, he does kloof with other men, and you know you don't do kloof with other men as a man, why do you have to explain, no, I don't do kloof with other men, it's propaganda? No, come on, my brother. It means you know you do kloof with other men. Okay, let's get into this. The US has rapidly deployed significant force in the Middle East recently, including a second aircraft carrier strike group. You know, they have some of the biggest warships. Now, there's the biggest in the world, named the USS Gerald R. Ford. Okay, it's in the Middle East already. And it's got jets like F-22s and F-35S, bombers, refuelers, tankers, and other assets. So America has moved a great number of military equipment in the Middle East, in a place where Iran is there. So it's intimidation. They're getting ready for war. But they say this time around, they're not just going to talk. So there's talk between America and Iran, okay? It happened first in Oman, now in Geneva. They are having discussions. While they're having discussions, America has moved military assets next to Iran in the show of force. We are here because America wants Iran to stop all nuclear fuel making program. Iran is working on nuclear, but, enriching uranium. When you see this is uranium, it's called the yellow cake. If you enrich it long enough, by 90%, you can create a nuclear bomb. This is a nuclear bomb. This is what America threw in Japan. Okay, bad. They're the only people to throw nuclear bomb to people anyway. But they're very scared that Iran may get the same technology. Number two, they want Iran to limit its intercontinental ballistic missiles. Iran has some of the strongest equipment in terms of ballistic missiles. They have about 3,000 missiles available. These are the missiles they can shoot from one continent to the other. Okay, so America, number one, want Iran to stop the uranium enriching. Number two, they want to dismantle the entire program. Number three, they want Iran to give away its missiles as well. Now, Iran refused. It has fixed up its missile site. Okay, they've hidden it. They've hidden the nuclear work as well. And they say they cannot give up on this because this is the only way they can protect themselves. Why? Remember, there was a moment. Israel and Iran went to war. After Trump bombed them, then Israel started bombarding Iran. Israel very quickly destroyed Iran defense system, air defense, with their airplane. They were very swift and strong. However, Iran resisted because they had ballistic missiles. They made a lot of damage in Tel Aviv. They didn't show you that on TV. They can't show you that. You shouldn't see that, but they did. So now they're coming after that. America is telling Iran to, number one, get rid of the nuclear. Number two, get rid of the ballistic missiles. Or else, I'm sending the ships, you know what's going to happen. It's intimidation. If fighting start, if fighting start right now, it could raise the price of oil. And maybe you don't know what the price of oil does. Well, because the price of oil is, when it's high, the economy just collapses. How does the economy collapse? Because you see the vegetable you're eating today, it was transported by a truck somewhere. Many trucks. From the fields to the plate. So if the price of the oil goes up, the price of the vegetable goes high. The price of the plate goes high because the plate that you're eating on also was transported. Oh, the price of the salaries of the people must also go high because those workers at supermarkets have to pay more money to the taxi drivers if you live in an African country because the taxi drivers have to pay a higher price for oil. An economic collapse, and this is going to touch everybody across the world. So you don't want war between Iran and America, not in that specific area. So Iranian military said if Trump bombed them, they're going to release all the stuff. They're going to release all the stuff that's linked to Jeffrey Epstein. And I know you're asking, who is Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein is a financier and a convicted sex offender. He became famous for his wealth, powerful connections, and serious crime involving sexual abuse and trafficking of underage girls. So the guy made a lot of money. He was running rich people's assets up to billions of dollars. But then, because sometimes you have a lot of money, you don't know what to do with it. You want to start doing fun things. And some of the fun things he wanted to do apparently was to create a space where he could invite rich people to come and have kluf with young girls, as young as 14 years old. Now, how did they get the 14 years old? Because they had a system where they promised them opportunities on TV, opportunities on media, and money. So these 14 and 15, and sometimes they were abducted by force. They're not telling you this, but it was a network of rich people that don't want to kluf grown women. They want to kluf young kids and many other things. Yeah, that's the Epstein situation. So he became extremely wealthy. He owned mansions in New York, Florida, New Mexico, Paris, and private island. He had a private island. The man made so much money, he had a private island in Virgin Island, often called the Little St. James or Epstein Island. This is his island. Okay, so Epstein was accused of large sex trafficking network for years. He and his associate, this lady right here, Ghislaine Maxwell, I know I keep the name, she was convicted and she's in prison right now. So apparently they recruited and abused dozens of underage girls. They promised them money, modeling jobs, and many other things. Now, in 2008, he made a controversial plea. Epstein, he pleaded guilty to lesser charges, procuring minor for prostitution. Yeah, he recognized that he did that. He brought minors for kluf. Okay, and he served only 13 months in jail. That's all, yeah. Imagine, maybe the judge also knew something about that. Now, prosecutors say that he abused girls across his properties and he used his private jet named Lolita Express. That was his private jet, Lolita Express, to fly victims and powerful friends across the world. Okay? Powerful friend across the world who flew to his... So, this is a massive situation. I know a lot of people don't know quite what's happening about the Epstein files, but it's crazy stuff. It's a lot of documents showing a lot of things that many powerful people across the world do. Okay? So, Epstein had a massive network of famous people. Some of the names that were, appeared on the list, they didn't necessarily show proof that they were kloofing kids, but they were with Epstein in his islands or in the airplane or somewhere. They talk about Bill Clinton. They talk about Donald Trump. They talk about people like Bill Gates. They talk about Prince Andrew. This is a royalty from Europe. They talk about scientifics and celebrities and many other people that were part of this. Okay? And what was in the files? Okay, what was in the files? The files of Epstein files. Well, the content provide insight into Epstein's operation, which involved recruiting and actually abusing, kloofing underage. So, detail about kloofing, I don't know what they get from kloofing underage. I know somewhere in Southern Africa, people believe that if you kloof a young girl that's a virgin, your HIV status will change from positive to negative. Yeah, it still happens. They abduct young girls, make sure she's virgin, and when you're HIV positive, you kloof her and you make her lose her virginity and your HIV disappears. Some crazy stuff. And you can't say the name of the country because they're going to come here. Don't talk about my country. If you talk about my country, you like to talk about my country. Anyway, not everybody does it, but some people still have some crazy beliefs. Anyway, let's get back on track. How did the authorities get the files? This is interesting. These files came from real investigation over the years, and raids on Epstein's home when they suspected him in New York, Florida, and Mexico, and his private island. They seized computers, hard drive, photos, and videos and emails. That's how they discovered the entire thing on Epstein. There was also an appeal from the court in 2008 where Maxwell, Ghislaine, this lady right here, was convicted. The FBI investigation into the sex trafficking, they investigated her into sex trafficking. And, so Epstein was arrested. He was arrested after all this. But then in 2019, they found him dead in jail. Yes, the guy was dead in jail. Some people say he unalived himself. How do you unalive yourself? The guy wasn't unaliving himself. He unalived himself, they say. Well, many people believe he unalived himself because, he knew too much of the powerful people. So he had to be unalive, or he had to unalive himself. I don't know which one you think it's true. So Donald Trump promised to release the file if he was elected president, because he accused the Clintons and he said, I'm going to release the file. And many people voted for Trump because they believe he was going to release the file. Well, Trump came up with a new law. Okay, there's a new law called the Epstein File Transparency Act. It was signed by Trump in November 2025. It forced the DOJ to release almost everything by mid-December. So Trump came into power. Say, I'm signing a law. You must release all the files from Epstein. We need to know who were kloofing the kids, who was eating the feet of, all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, people hear Trump say that when somebody says, release the file. Obviously, if you are in the files, you wouldn't say, release the file now. Well, they released the file. But there's something. What is the but? Yes, not everything is out. They did not release everything out. Yes, they did not release all the files. They say some of the files were withheld or redacted. So they changed the looking of. They released the file, but then they cover it with black. How do you release files and cover it with black? What are you protecting? They redacted for reasons like protecting victims' privacy, names, face, personal information, attorney-client privilege, national security, and deliberate purpose. So the DOJ say, most of these things were blocked and to protect for national security. What national security? Trump said you must release everything. Critics, including Democrats, say too much is still hidden and redacted. Too much is hidden in this file. So it's very easy. Trump can say release, but he knows you're going to withhold some. Release, but not release all the stuff. I'm not saying he was in there, but the bottom line is Iran says if Trump dares to hit, they are going to release some of the files. Okay? Now, some of the vlogs, they say evidence show that Trump flew on Epstein flight, on Epstein private plane, at least 8 times between 1993 to 1996, including one flight with just Trump, Epstein, and an unidentified woman, which obviously contradicts Trump's public claim that he was never in Epstein plane. Okay, he said he was never in there, but there's a file that shows he was in there with Epstein and one woman. Crazy stuff. Let's go to South Africa. Well, you can't have a day without talking about South. What do you mean have a day without talking about. You have to talk about South Africa. In South Africa, the son of a former president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, a guy named Bellarmine Mugabe, was arrested in Johannesburg on suspicion of attempted murder for allegedly shooting a security guard, they said initially, but then they say he's a gardener. So he shot his gardener at a property. The son of the president, this is Mugabe, okay? Was a great leader back in time, trying to fight for freedom, but then he changed. Like most of the leaders in Africa, they start with good ideas and later on they become dictators because they think they're God. Now, he was kicked out of power a couple of years ago, and his family, I think most of his family, fled the country and went to South Africa. Obviously, the economy of Zimbabwe is in the gutter. This country is really, really struggling, and just like a lot of Zimbabweans cross the country, they go to South Africa. And Robert Mugabe's family is in South Africa. Now, apparently, his son shot a gardener. I don't know why, over what. Was it a dispute? Were they fighting? Did he say something weird to him?
We can confirm that the police will be investigating a case of attempted murder that is following after a 23-year-old man was found shot in this particular residence where we are staying. And according to the victim, he indicated that he's an employee of this particular house. He's a gardener. But the circumstances of the shooting at this moment, they are still a bit sketchy.
But you must remember, what's important to retain is whether he shot or not, because they found cartridges in his house and he's arrested. You don't have the right to shoot anybody. And let me put it this way for you. A lot of family members of presidents in Africa think they can shoot people. They think they can get away with everything. There's even the son of a president of a country in Central Africa right now who shot somebody in a nightclub. Yeah, he got the person and he's free. And I need to tell you the truth. I'll always tell you the truth. I know some people like it, they hate it, they will label me clickbait. They can go fly a kite, but they will still come back and watch videos. I know they come back watch videos. They have to come back. Where are they going to go? They're not going to go anywhere. They say, you wonder why the channel is not growing. I mean, yes, we don't want the channel to grow because there aren't many people with big brains. We need the limited amount of people with the brains to watch. We don't need the channel to grow. Do you think we need the channel to grow? We have jobs and opportunities and things happening. Do you think we do this so the channel can grow? No, we don't. We do this for the few people that actually have brains to use and think. That's all. We don't want the channel to grow because they know the channel will never grow. Even the Bible says there's a limited number of people that will go to heaven. You think the Bible is trying to get the maximum of people to go to heaven? No. The Bible says there's it's 110,000. Is it 110,000? There's a number precise of people that will go to heaven. Even God cannot get the channel of his people to go to heaven to grow. I will slap you next time if I see your comments. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. It was a great pleasure. God bless.
We're scared. We only go out when it's necessary because people don't know whether to go out or what to do.
The main objective on this day has been to safeguard the safety of the people. Therefore, early this morning, from this security meeting, which is in permanent session, we activated Code Red, which remains in effect.
Fellas, what's happening in Mexico? Do you know what's happening in Mexico? There's burning around, explosion, people being unalived. There's havoc. The truth is the cartel is very, very angry. Why? Because their boss is being killed by the army. Now, this is exactly what happens when the cartel is just as powerful as the army in the country. You don't know who controls. Look at the state of Mexico right now. And I know you've seen this all over the place. And maybe you don't quite know or understand what's happening. And this is why we're here. Thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate you. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Why are we talking about Mexico? We're talking about Mexico because a lot of Africans go to Mexico for tourism. Now, what is happening in Mexico? This is all being done by a cartel named CJNG. It is widely regarded as one of the most violent and expensive criminal organizations in Mexico and one of the top suppliers of fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, and heroin in the United States and beyond. So these are very well organized, dangerous people. Now, what has occurred? It is the death of somebody very important. the drug lord, the drug leader. So it's this man right here. His name is Nemencio Osega Cervantes, but he's also known as El Mencho. Who is El Mencho and why is this happening? I think we're going to dive into this very quickly so we can all understand. He was born in July 17, 1966 in a poor rural area in Mexico. He grew up in poverty, dropped out of primary school and worked in avocado field before getting involved in drug cultivation of marijuana as a teenager. As you can see, you will notice that most of the biggest drug dealers started very early in a very difficult situation. Let's continue. So how did he become so powerful? His rise was gradual but ruthless, built on survival, alliances, betrayal, and extreme violence. So very early in his life, in 1980s, he illegally immigrated to the United States of America multiple times, working in California. He was arrested several times for meth-related charges in San Francisco for selling heroin in 1992. So the guy was very busy doing drugs, selling stuff in San Francisco. Then after being arrested, he was sent back to Mexico briefly. And in Mexico, he worked as a police officer. Later on, he left the police rank and began working for a drug dealer. He worked as a hitman. They paid him money to kill people. Now let's see what this issue is all about. In Mexico, one man scared everyone for many years. His name is Nemencio Osega Cervantes. People call him El Mencho. He was the boss of the CJNG cartel. This group sells drugs like fentanyl, cocaine, meth all over the world. On February 22, 2026, everything changed. Mexican Special Force attacked him in a small town called Tapala. They found him meeting a woman. A big gunfight started. El Mencho got shot badly. He died on the way to the hospital in Mexico City. This operation was done with the help of American intelligence agency, the CIA. In the United States of America, the USA had put $15 million reward on his head. That meant $15 million for anyone who helped catch him. But in the end, no one got the money. The Mexican army killed him. If his death did not stop the violence, it made it worse. The CJNG fighters got very angry. They burnt cars, blocked roads, attacked shops, banks, and police. Many people died, including soldiers. Cities became scary. Tourists in places like Puerto Vallarta had to hide. Some flights stopped. People running in the airport for their life. Fear was everywhere. Now, one of the big questions is that who wanted El Mencho dead? Maybe other cartels who want his power. Maybe bad police or officials who worked with him. Maybe the United States because the CJNGs sent a lot of deadly drugs to America and killed many people over there. But the truth is the people who suffer the most are normal Mexicans. Family lost loved ones. Shops get destroyed. People live in fear every day, afraid of kidnapping, money demand, and sudden shooting.
Look, now we're scared. We only go out when it's necessary because people don't know whether to go out or what to do.
Mexico is a beautiful country. Many people from Africa and all over the world go to Cancun, Tulum, Puerto Vallarta for vacation. They love the beaches and the culture. But under the nice photo, there is danger. Violence can start anywhere. The other question is, what happens when the army and the cartel are almost equal strength? The Mexican army has tanks, helicopters, and trained soldiers, but the cartel also have very strong weapons. They use rocket launchers, big snipers guns, explosive drones, and even homemade armored trucks. Armored vehicles by cartel. The question is, who gives them the armored vehicle? Well, where do the cartels get these weapons and armored cars? Most of them from the United States of America. Yes, guns go south across the border like a big river of metal. Many of the guns are bought legally in American shops. You know, in America, you can get a gun if you want. And they are smuggled into Mexico. Is there someone outside the country trying to destroy the Mexican government? Some people said yes. They think foreign countries want Mexico weak. Others say it's because the drugs, the money, the corruption, the poverty. No one can fully control it. El Mencho is dead now. That's a big win for justice. But the war is not over. When one boss dies, new fights start. More blood comes before things get better. The lesson here, fellas, is very clear. When criminals are as strong as the government, everyone loses. The people pay the biggest prices. Mexico needs peace. Mexico needs safety. Mexico needs a future without fear. Until the world stops buying so many drugs, stop selling so many guns, and fight corruption, the killing will continue.
Today there is more calm, and there is government, there are armed forces, there is a security cabinet, and there is a lot of coordination. So you can rest assured that peace, security, and normality in the country are being safeguarded.
El Mencho is gone. The war goes on.
First, I would like to offer my condolences to the families of our colleagues who lost their lives. We are also going, and recognition to our military personnel who carried out a successful operation. It can be viewed from many perspectives, but it is clear that they accomplished their mission. What was demonstrated? The strength of the Mexican state. There is no doubt about that. Thank you.
Reconocimiento a nuestro personal militar.